Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with an on-the-fly review for you. And today I'm talking about Scream 7, released earlier this month, directed by Kevin Williamson, writer of the original film, and starring Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Isabel May, McKenna Grace, Joel McHale, Ethan Embry, Anna Camp. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few folks here. Whole setup here is, once again, Sidney Prescott is being terrorized by a serial killer wearing a mask, taking on the identity of Ghostface. Specifically, this Ghostface seems to be focusing and attacking her because her daughter is now the exact same age Cindy was when the original killings happened. Now, I'm going to try to avoid spoilers in general. Not just for this movie, but for the other movie, because I really don't want to talk about this movie very long. This is, for my money, is it the worst Scream film in the series? I'd say no. I still think 3 leaned way too heavy into the camp, into the cheese. And that was, I understand, that was a studio mandated thing after Columbine. They wanted a much lighter film. They kind of forced this onto Wes Craven. I thought the last one before this, Scream 6, which was still very fun, leaned a little bit too much into action movie for me. And both Scream 3 and Scream 6 have just cardinal sins in slasher movies, in my opinion. You cannot have a confirmed dead character. They were confirmed as dead, but then they pop up later because they're the real killer. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. Now, I've said many times over the years, if you've followed my channel, if you've watched various videos I've done over the last 8 years now, almost, Scream is not just one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's one of my favorite movies, period. It's a film I've seen maybe 1,000 fucking times. Every scene, every shot, analyzed it with friends, loved ones, family. It's a film I love very, very deeply. I hold very near and dear to my heart. Many slasher films, murder mysteries, I think genuinely do fall apart when you get to the reveal, where Scream is genuinely a film that once we find out what's going on and who's doing it and why they're doing it, it just elevates. It just becomes so much better. My favorite sequence in Scream, a lot of people tell you the opening. To me, it's always been the ending. You know, the reveal, the surprise, Sydney, all of that is, I love that. I absolutely, it's some of my favorite shit ever in any movie, ever, at all. Yeah, I know. Nightmare. Night of the Living Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre are probably far more important horror films than Scream, to a degree, as far as the care and the work and the corners you got cut financially. Those were both very, very low budget movies, beyond indies. And the fact that they've resonated and they're still household names in their films well over a half a century later, people talk about all the time. I think Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, Hitchcock specifically, that could be a great contender, if not the number one best directed movie of all time. Seriously, I think that's a good contender, good example for what was the best work of a director in movie history. My first thought would go to Hitchcock for Psycho. But this movie, okay, on the positive things, it's nice to have Neve Campbell back. It's nice to be back in Woodsboro, even though we didn't really need to. And for me, in a lot of ways, it doesn't really make sense that she would want to live there. Joel McHale was good in it. I liked him in it. And the real standout to this was Isabel May. I thought she was very good in this. Brought a maturity to her character. Yeah, I know she's like 24, 25, something like that. But she brought actual talent and care to her performance as Sid's daughter, Tatum. And I thought she was the best performance of the movie. I thought she was really good at it. But where this movie really falls apart, and it's not 100% the whole movie, because I enjoyed how they were able to work in the Meeks. I liked the meta referencing of Nev not being in the last one and why, even though they hit you over the fucking head with it. It would have been one thing to have the one scene where they reference this, but it's like at least 3 or 4 different times in the film. I hated the AI stuff. But I get why they are doing it. It fits Ghostface's MO, and it is a relevant technology thing to now. So I get why they felt they needed to do AI. But this film completely falls apart in the third act. And I don't just mean with the Ghostface reveal. It completely goes off the rails with that. But even getting there, I'm sitting there, I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, we are out of suspects. And certain stuff like there's this bit where Sid, instead of like just going back inside to get the key, she just decides to run across town because that takes so much fucking easier. Not like you're in a hurry to stop someone from chopping up your kid or anything. Some of the younger cast members were like Celeste O'Connor from Madam Web. Boy, did she need a good movie. She didn't completely get it here, but she had more to do in this than she did in that. And it's not saying much. Like I said, it really falls apart in the third act. There's problems with the movie before that. It's stupid, bad writing. For example, they're wondering how Ghostface could have gotten into the house when we've already seen that the house is being remodeled, so there's a whole fucking wall missing to your home. I wonder how he got inside. Maybe just walked in through the giant hole in your house. Possible. It's possible. And I also got shit on Marco Beltrami. I've pointed this out too. I've misremembered for years. Thought Marco was nominated for an Oscar for the original movie, but he wasn't. I don't know why I misremembered that. I know that was around the time that they were splitting up original score to dramas and musical and comedy. Part of me kind of wishes they would have stayed with that for score, because comedy scores are so overlooked and unappreciated so often. And maybe they'll recognize an animated like when Up won, but it's rare, man. It's really rare. I am giving Scream 7 2.5 stars. It's a very disappointing movie. As much as I love Scream, as much as I love that original film, and even though I've never ever been like, oh, not another one, or oh god, they gotta stop it, I walked out of this one with it. I walked out of this movie going, damn, we gotta retire the mask, gotta put the blades up for good, man, because it's not good anymore. And I mean, what are we gonna do? Wait another 15 years and try to reboot it again? Nah, man, just call it a day. Because I was already on the fence doing these movies without Wes Craven. And now they want to do them without. They tried to push out Neve Campbell. And then they completely pushed out their new stars. Melissa Barrera got fired for completely fucked up reasons. And good for her, Jenna Ortega quit out of, camaraderie. The Scream franchise screwed the pooch. Now, I don't think this movie was unsalvageable. It could have been saved. And it's my understanding that certain key cast members, were very disappointed with the script, tried to make recommendations about their characters, how their characters could be more red herrings, could be more appropriate into the tradition of the series, and they're basically just told, you're not a producer, you're an actor, shut the fuck up and stay in your lane, which is what you always need to tell people you're supposed to be collaborating with. Just great work, Kev. 2.5 stars. Very, very disappointing movie. It's nice to have Nev back, but at what cost? I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.